What's going on, everyone? This is ODC, that's me, and I'm back with another action figure review. This is my review of the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Batman. I believe this was the early Batman. This was the Batman that I grew up with, basically, in cartoon form. This was the Batman I've been waiting for. Not that I didn't like I believe it was Series 1 Batman, but this is the one, wow, I was really excited for. Yeah, so super excited about this. He comes with really nice packaging. Really do like the animated series packaging. It says Batman on the side, and it says Batman the Animated Series down here. It says figure 13 right there, and it comes with 13 pieces to this figure, which is really nice. On the back, it just has a silhouette of Batman, the Animated Series logo. That's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. Let's get this guy opened up and we'll take a closer look at him. We'll be right back. And isn't this figure just a darling? It really is. I love this figure. It's so cool. It really brings me back to when I was a kid and I used to go to school and I would sneak an action figure in my backpack. We weren't allowed toys because I went to Catholic school. We weren't allowed to bring toys to school. So I remember I used to bring my little 3 3/4 inch Batman that looked just like this, and it really is bringing me back to that day, or those days where I used to see, and it was always him. It was always this figure I used to bring in because it was small enough where I could keep him in my pocket and no one would see. But I digress off that subject. He does come with a little brochure that shows all the other figures available, which is there's Batman the Riddler, Penguin, Batgirl, which I do plan on getting, and Nightwing I plan on getting as well. And there is the beloved Batmobile, which I definitely it's the next thing on my list. I guarantee it. I wouldn't be surprised if I go and order it right after this review. But also Rocket, and the rocket she had. So that would be a really cool deluxe figure to pick up as well. I would like to pick up Bane. I'm going to try and get all the Bat family members together first before I go after the villains, but I do have intentions to get the rest. And on the other side, they just have a look, Batman the Animated Series, and then the New Adventures of Batman. So all those characters will be released in the future. I would like a version of the different version of Bane than what they gave us. I believe it was from the New Adventures of Batman and not from the animated series. I'd like the animated series version of him. He looked a little bit more like the Bane that we all know, instead of that choker collar, and that was awkward. But anyway, I digress. He does also come with a grapnel gun. His iconic grapnel gun. And it is different from the New Adventures of Batman's gun, which I'll get to in a second. He also comes with a batarang. And he comes with, what is it, 3 sets of hands? Actually, 2, 4, 6, 7 hands, which is really cool. One actually has a very similar to the first Batman that was released, the New Adventures of Batman figure. This is a hand grapping the grapnel gun. So, and this actually is different, which I will bring in the other Batman right now to show you that in the new version they did swap the hands here, and they did swap, or they did have different grapnel guns. So, as you can see there, the guns are different. So there's that. Okay, setting that down, we have 2 batarang gripping hands. Really cool. And then we have 2 regular gripping hands. And then we have 2 fist hands. So that's pretty cool. As far as the paint apps, they look a lot better with this version. I know there was a lot of problems with QC and overall look of the original Batman figure, which I'm just going to bring him in really quick. I didn't have any issues with mine, but I know that a lot of people had issues with the broken ankles, and then, if I can get this off, there we go. There was a couple issues with the figure itself overall. But with mine was fine. Here they are standing next to each other. I think they both look really good. Like I said, I'd probably prefer this, but this one is still holds is near and dear to my heart, especially with that team up, the Superman team up, World's Finest run they had. I believe it was like a 4 series part, but you can definitely tell the upgrades here in the body and what they've done to fix it. They got rid of these horrible drill holes right here, and they covered them up nicely. This Batman looks a little bit leaner than this Batman. This Batman's kind of buffed up and a little bit older, you can tell. This is definitely a younger Batman. But I think I still, if I have to choose one, if I do, I still might go with this guy. I still like him better. They're both pretty much the same height except for the ears. The ears are a little bit taller on this guy, and the head's also squared off a little bit more. So there's your comparisons. The capes obviously are much different from each other. I mean, 2 totally different looks, really. So, but yeah, like I said, this one is just iconic for me. It really is. It's beautifully done. As far as his articulation goes, his head does swivel. I guess you can get it going a full 360. There you go. And then he can look up nicely, and he can look down nicely. His arms, they go up about that far, and they do go down. Full 360 rotation. He does have a single bend at the elbow. Not the best range of motion, probably. And then he's got a swivel at the elbow. But this is pretty much consistent with what the line is. It's not the best articulated, but it comes with a ton of accessories. I think that was my big gripe with the Arkham Knight figure, was that there was no consistency with the other figures. The articulation should be the same as the Batman figure, but as long as you're consistent and I know what I'm getting into, that's fine. It's a totally different story. Like I said, he's got a swivel, and he's got a swivel at the wrist here, and he does have a hinge at the wrist, which goes forward and back on each of the hands. No ab crunch or anything like that, but that's not what they had before in this line. He does have a waist swivel. And he does have T-jointed hips, which go out nicely. And they do go forward. It's a little bit tight. I might have to loosen this guy up, but the legs do go forward so you can get him in a sitting pose. Oh, I really don't want to... Oh, please don't break. Gotta get you in the Batmobile. Come on! You could do it. There we go. There we go. I would be very careful with these T-jointed hips. These DC Universe Classic style hips, ooh, be careful. But he does not have a waist swivel, or waist swivel, a thigh swivel. He has a single bend at the knee. He has an ankle hinge which goes forward and back, and he does have an ankle pivot. And no peg holes at the bottom of his feet because he's got a pretty much a flight stand at this point. My camera's gonna die. Please don't die before I plug it in. There we go, I plugged it in. As far as the flight stand goes, it is really nice. Or a stand, or I don't know what you want to call it. It does have a picture, very similar to the other Batman stand. A picture of the overall show, the logo, and then the picture of the character. So there's that. And then here we go. We have the figure on the stand. And you can adjust this height however you want it. So if you want to have him kind of like doing a drop kick or something like that, or if you just want to have him standing on here, you can have him do that. And this piece is strong enough to keep him standing, so you don't have any issues there. So that looks pretty cool. I dig all the accessories. This comes with 13 pieces total, including the flight stand. So that's really nice. I love that this bat symbol is sculpted and raised as the same as the first one, which is really nice. And like I said, I mean, if you missed out on this guy, you have this guy now. I think he's still available. I'm pretty sure you can pick him up on the cheap. I think I saw him going for around $17 on Amazon at one point. So I mean, you could definitely find him for cheap if you missed out on him. Or if you absolutely hate that figure, now you have yourself another figure, the original look for Batman the Animated Series. So I think it looks really cool. I love the blue on the inside of the cape. That is just awesome. I really like that the belt is sculpted nicely, and it's very just simplistic in design because it's an animated toy. So I think it looks really cool. The boots are also sculpted. They're not just like a painted on lines like most toy companies would do. That's not the case with this guy. And same thing goes for the gloves, or the gauntlets, I should say. And the spines on his gauntlets. They are nicely sculpted, and they're strong enough where they're not going to snap off or break or anything like that. So they definitely upgraded. You can tell they upgraded the plastic on these guys now, so they'll be much more sturdy, and there shouldn't be a big issue there with that anymore. And no more breaking ankles. Batman doesn't break ankles. LaShawn McCoy breaks ankles. Sorry. But yeah, like I said, if you want to unplug, oh god, I can't talk. If you want to unplug the hands, they come out really easily, nicely, so you don't have any issue there. If you kind of want to have them grappling, pointing and grappling up to the sky. Da, 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 na, 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 na. If you don't want the single release, there is another chance you'll be able to get this Batman as well. There's going to be a Batman and Phantasm 2-pack from Mask of the Phantasm. If you have not seen that movie, my God, what are you doing? Stop watching this review and go watch that movie, for the love of God. A great movie. It's one of my favorite Batman movies of all time. And yeah. That 2-pack is coming out. I believe it's going to be around $40. This guy ran me around $22. Yeah, so he is a really good figure, and if you are a fan at all of Batman the Animated Series, I would highly recommend getting this figure. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a nice display piece. That's what it is. Comes with a lot of cool accessories, a lot of nice hands, and comes with a batarang and 2 grapple guns if you include the one that's sculpted onto his hand, which I think is a really nice touch. And I love that they upgraded the plastic. They fixed the problems that were haunting this poor guy right here. So that's really nice. And yeah, definitely 2 thumbs up here. Go get him. He's good. He's worth it. And if you're planning on getting the Batmobile, you might as well get this guy too, because he's just going to go with it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.